What is going on, Orlando Magic fans? What a way to bring in the Thanksgiving season. 133-119 win over the Chicago Bulls. Tonight, your Orlando Magic take care of business. You are here on the Six-Man Show Postgame Live. My name is Sam Hewish. So good to see you guys. We got people trickling in. I know that this is just a great way to spend some time with the Magic community before Thanksgiving tomorrow. So we're going to talk about the game. We're going to talk about some stats. We're going to talk about a couple of great performances tonight. We're going to read some of your guys' comments. But just starting off with a word of Thanksgiving. I'm thankful for y'all being here tonight. You guys could have just turned the TV off and gone and done something else, but you chose to be here with us right now. Leave a like. This is the Six-Man Show Postgame Live brought to you by Rock'em Socks. If you don't mind, I'm going to fix my camera here real quick. That was weird. Brought to you by Rock'em Socks. Rock'em Socks is the presenting sponsor for the Six-Man Show Postgame Live. You guys can see on the screen that if you use code MAGIC20, you get 20% off of not just Magic socks, but any type of sock. But I do have some Magic socks here to show you guys. I know you guys have seen these if you've been on the Postgame Live before. But if you want to take a look at these bad boys, Stuff the Magic Dragon. These socks are great. There's a couple different versions of them. Feel free to check some of these out. But I also have a couple of other things pulled up for you guys. I know that it's the holiday season. I know that Thanksgiving, is tomorrow. We got Christmas coming up next month. So if you really want to get festive, I don't know exactly what the shipping situation looks like with Rock'em, but if you want to pull these bad boys out, just take a moment to just take it in, like breathe in that image, because that's insane. That's wild. I love these boxers. It's crazy. And then you also have a couple of Christmas ones coming up. These Christmas socks. You got some Christmas lights here. You've got these Santa boxers right here. You got a lot of different options here. And they actually have a sale going on as well. So a lot of these are half price. And then you can also use the code MAGIC20 for 20% off. So thank you so much to our sponsor, Rock'em Socks. Let's go ahead and pull this back up here. We're going to start getting into the chat. Guys, how are we feeling tonight? What a win. Magic take care of business, 133-119. You look at the ticker. I know there's going to be a lot of comments about both of these dudes tonight. But, man, Suggs and KCP, we talked about what this backcourt was capable of doing coming into this year, and they took care of business. These guys did. It was insane to watch these guys play. And, man, I'm not you guys know, I've done a couple of these post-game lives already, and you guys know I'm not big on the small sample size overreaction kind of thing, right? But if this is the KCP we can get for any extended period of time with this team, then because 6 of 10 from 3 was crazy. Orlando puts up a season high 133 points. Let's start working through a couple of these comments here. If you know, you know. The top comment tonight is from Matt Browning. What a first half for KCP. Love to see it. Absolutely, Matt. C. Thomas, we don't need to make any trades. Don't mess with something that's working this well. Absolutely. Granted, this is KCP's first game, but if he can find the middle ground somewhere, right? The middle ground between what he's been doing of not giving us anything on the offensive end and then dropping 24 points. If he can give us the low teens every night, hit about 35 to 40% of his threes, and then keep playing the level of defense that he's been playing so far this season, we're looking good. And I know this was against a Bulls team. This was pretty much a 20-point win, 20-plus point. I texted the group chat and said, man, this third unit's really driving down our defensive rating. We had them at about 100 points until, a 19-point breakout over the last 4 minutes. KCP finally arrived, Nesto says. A lot of comments about KCP here in the chat. Janine Richmond. Janine, always a faithful viewer of the show. We appreciate you, Janine. Happy Thanksgiving, my fellow Magic Maniacs. Go ahead, leave a couple things in the comments. What's something about this Magic team specifically that you're thankful for, right? I know there's a lot of things to be thankful for. This is one of the best seasons that we've had up to this point in a really, really long time. This is definitely the most hopeful I've been as a Magic fan since I've been a Magic fan. So what are you guys thankful for? Is there specific players? Is there a specific moment? What are you guys grateful for specifically about this Magic team? And it's a great time to be a Magic fandom. So leave some comments about what you're thankful for so far this season. We got a couple comments here. And I'm going to pull up Chris Dees because Chris Dees, another faithful listener of the show. Chris, we appreciate you. Sometimes you just have to win a shootout. I don't know if I'm going to call that a shootout. Like I said, I think that this was a 25 point win. The number that we gave up was really kind of skewed by that third unit. But most important part of this comment right here is play the song. We are going to play the song. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's play the song, then we're going to get to a couple of super chats. So here we go. Let's play the song, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. What a way to head into Thanksgiving tomorrow. We got a couple of super chats. Greasy, sorry that I missed you. My bad, but Pawns down, Franz up. Franz, we're going to talk about him. Not a great night. He was forcing a little bit, definitely a lot of contact there at the rim, but it definitely felt like he was forcing shots a little bit. A couple of the shots that he was taking tonight, you would like to see go down, and you think that they would go down. But I mean, if Franz can have, first of all, if he drops 21 points, his final line was 21 points, 6 assists, 3 rebounds. Obviously, pretty bad night shooting for him. But if that's a bad night for your best player while Paolo's out, then I think you're okay. David S., another super chat. David, we appreciate you. Jalen Suggs, that is all. That's one of the most efficient 30-point games I've ever seen. And we've been watching some efficient 30-point games from Franz recently. But Jalen, it felt more like you looked up at the box score and you were like, holy crap, Jalen's got 30 points. That's insane, which was just wild. So the fact that Jalen was able to come out and drop 31, I really think that we pay so much attention to what he does on the defensive side of the ball that we underestimate what he brings us on the offensive side of the ball. We saw that the other night in Charlotte, and he just really spaces things out. And if he's hitting his shots, then I think that we're in a good spot. Ace the Baller, another super chat comes in right here. A $10 super chat. We appreciate you. Thankful for KCP for hitting his threes. Hope y'all have a very happy Thanksgiving. Ace, we hope that you have a very happy Thanksgiving. Let's go ahead and get a little bit into the chat here. I know that we started getting into the chat a little bit. A lot of comments about KCP, a lot of comments about play the song. We already played the song. Rom says, hope Franz is okay for game 3 of the NBA Cup. For those of you guys who haven't rolled your ankle severely, especially playing basketball before, those ones where your foot doesn't go to the side, but your foot goes forward, especially because I think that was the ankle that he's already messed up in the past, those can be rough. That hurts. But I mean, the fact that he stayed out on the court and was able to play through it until the next time out, I think that bodes well for how he's feeling. C. Thomas says, could Banchero, Wagner, and Suggs be our Durant, Harden, and Westbrook? That's a great comparison. I know that on the podcast over the offseason, Jonathan and Kevin talked about kind of comparing this Magic team to other teams that have, done similar kind of rebuilds with forwards and whatnot. A lot of the comparisons that people are making is to that Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown combo, where it's two kind of bigger forwards who can do things on the defensive side of the ball and the offensive side of the ball. But really, factoring in Suggs changes the complexion of what this team's capable of, for sure. Mentioned this, Dizzy, you said 21 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 stocks is considered a bad Franz game. If that's a bad Franz game, sign me up. Absolutely love it. Mello says that Goga alley, that was tough. Love that Suggs and Goga just celebrated like Suggs jumped on him on their way back down the court. That was dope. I mentioned this in the group chat earlier this evening too, Chris. If Magic have home court advantage, watch out. Yeah, if the Magic have home court advantage, this is the type of they feel comfortable playing in Kia Center, and so I think that more than most other teams in the league, especially, and I think it's because of how young the team is, playing home court is going to be big, I think. So getting a top 4 seed, helping us in the first round for sure, and then if there's any upsets, you get to play in the home court again. I'm not counting out this team from a postseason run this year. Not saying we're going to win the finals or anything crazy like that, but this team's showing that they're something special. I mentioned this on the ticker down at the bottom, highest point total for the season. Offense was hitting tonight. They really were. It's not even we eked out our highest point total. Our highest point total before tonight was 121, and then we beat it all the way up to 133. So the offense, 73 points in the first half? The offense was just clicking on all cylinders tonight, for sure. We are the only undefeated home team in the entire association. Is that true? I'm assuming it's true, or else you wouldn't have said it, but let me check the scores in the NBA real quick. We're going to check scores around the league later tonight as well. But the Hawks defeat the Cavs 135-124. and the Cavs lose at home. Your Orlando Magic are the only undefeated home team in the NBA. That's big. That's big. We handed the Lakers their first home loss, and then now we're the only undefeated home team remaining. So the only hero says, KCP, welcome to Orlando. All those other games don't matter. Just keep it up. We kept saying he wasn't a net negative because of everything he was doing on the defensive side of the ball. And if he could just really start to get his offense clicking, he wasn't a net negative because he was doing so well. He wasn't taking 15 shots a game and only making 3. It was really just, okay, if he can complement what he was doing defensively with what he could do offensively, like we saw tonight with 6 threes, then that's just going to be huge for this team. Christian Manuel Pena says, where all my Matt Brownings at? Man, that had me dying the other night, let me tell you. Santi says, hit the like button, Magic Maniacs. Hit the like button for sure. We got 131 people in here. You guys are spending your Wednesday night right before Thanksgiving with 131 other Magic Maniacs. We got 41 likes. Let's try to get it up as high as we can for sure. Show the video some love. Majestic Beast with a bold claim says this will go down as the best Magic team in history, even if we don't win championships. The amount of likable players on this team is special. I think we're on that trajectory. I don't think I can make that claim yet, but I think that the talent that we have and what this talent is going to be capable of accomplishing, I think that for sure you can make the claim that we're on track for being a great team, possibly one of the best in franchise history. Christy says, I am Matt Browning. A lot of Cavs just lost to Atlanta comments. Jalen Suggs career high 31. Matt Browning here checking into the postgame live. Great inside joke. That's never going to die out. John Holling says, Magic at home. It's starting to become, I love that we have this idea of like kingdom on the rise, right? We established that last year. But the idea that we're creating this vibe of like, if you want to beat us, you have to come into a place that's fortified, that's locked down, and just creating that vibe of like, you have to come in and we're not going to make it easy on you. Like, this is not going to be a place where you come in expecting to win. This is going to be a place where you come in expecting to lose. And at some point, right, I don't know if this is going to be a 39-2 team again, but at some point, this team's probably going to lose a home game, right? But the fact that you're starting 9-0 is great, and it's what you love to see. And you don't need to win, 25 of your 41 road games. Just take care of business and stay 500 on the road and then just dominate at home. That's what good teams do. That's what good teams do. D. Randall said, hit that like button, show some love show some love for the video, for the channel. Michael says, my 4-year anniversary, still was able to watch the second half. Love our starting lineup roster this game. Happy 4-year anniversary. Michael, a lot of things for you to celebrate around this time of year. You got your anniversary, you got Thanksgiving. Man, hoping that you had a great anniversary and hope that you have a great Thanksgiving coming up as well. A couple of other play the songs as well. So many players have stepped up at various points so far. You got to love it. It's so true. It hasn't just been Franz. You look at tonight, Franz didn't have a great game. He had 21 points on 20 shots, not an efficient 21 points at all. But Suggs stepping up, KCP finally stepping up. I love, and I haven't seen a lot of chats about this, but it was definitely a talking point coming into the game. I love that as fans, we were like, all right, well, Wendell's back. Great. Wendell's back. Looks like Goga, even though he's been great, he's going to be forced out of the starting lineup. And then Wendell's going to come into the starting lineup, and it's going to mess up the chemistry and everything. And we started that two big kind of lineup with Goga and Wendell. We'll see what that's going to look like moving forward. But I actually really liked how they looked tonight. It would be great if Wendell could hit some threes. That would really help the spacing, having that lineup out on the court until Paolo gets back. Offense was clicking. We're getting to a couple of these thankful comments. Duval says, I'm thankful that we have P5 and Franz. Yeah. A lot to be thankful for as a Magic fan nowadays. So Michael says, thankful for the Sug Monster. Man, Suggs is playing great. He hasn't been great as the lead guard, but in terms of scoring, in terms of defense, we knew that's what we were going to get out of him. He's been great. The three-pointer was starting to look a little concerning over these last couple weeks. So the fact that he stepped up and did what he did tonight was awesome. A couple of other comments about being the only undefeated team at home. A lot of you guys were paying attention to that Cleveland game. We love to see that we're scoreboard watching in November, a clear sign of a team on the rise. Paying attention to standings in November, we love to see it. Also, because we got butt hurt last year when we lost a couple games that we should have won, and then ended up missing out on home court advantage by one game. So a couple of other thankful comments. We got Dead Air that I'm thankful for Franz averaging more points than LeBron and Curry. That's crazy. I would not have guessed that if you wouldn't have told me that. Andrew, thankful we got our TNT game back. This was crazy. If you guys haven't, check out the last episode, the last podcast that Kevin and Jonathan dropped on, I believe it was Monday. And they actually found out live during that podcast that they flexed back our TNT game against New York on, I believe, next Tuesday. And John's reaction is just hilarious. Jonathan's reaction was great. So if you didn't watch that, it's a little bit into the episode, but listen to that and watch that, actually. Go on YouTube and watch that video because his reaction watching it live was hysterical. Love to see it. Ryan says, should they have benched Franz before the fourth? No, because this Bulls team, we could see they're pesky. They hang around, and they did that before. That's how we lost last time. We had an 18-point game in the last game that we lost to them. So you want to keep your best player in. This isn't one of those Todd Bowles with Chris Godwin type situations for any Bucks fans who get that one out there of like, why is our best player in the game right now? He shouldn't be in the game right now. I don't have an issue with that. That wasn't a problem for me. Oliver says, I'm thankful for Coach Mose for instilling a high-level accountability into this team. Phenomenal job. I think that we as Magic fans are taking Coach Mosley for granted. We talk about him all the time, but I think that there are a lot of teams out in the NBA right now that would kill to have a coach like Coach Mosley with a young roster and the way that he brings these guys together. But it's not just about like, oh, go out and have a great time, guys. But it's like he has a high expectation for this team and what they're capable of accomplishing. And they play like it, which is awesome. Rick says, we love this one. Thankful for my grandfather being a Magic fan back in the day. I love this team. Be thankful for whoever got you involved in this Magic community because you're here now and you get to experience this awesome time and this awesome season, these great players on this awesome roster. Coach Mosley, just so much to be grateful for and thankful that we're not already looking at Tankathon in November, but we get the opportunity to look at the standings, and your Magic are 13-7 and third in the Eastern Conference. TR says, man, I'm stoked. Been ride or die Magic fan since the 90s. Love from Australia. TR, love from the beautiful state of Michigan. I'm up in Michigan spending the week with my wife and her family. And that's why the backdrop looks a little different than usual. Appreciate my brother-in-law for letting me ransack his kitchen and turning it into a little podcast studio for a couple hours. So appreciate them for that. Do you believe in said 10 turnovers in the whole game? We took care of the ball. That allowed us to drop 133. Is only turning the ball over 10 times was great. A lot of other. We're the only undefeated team at home. Luis Rosario. Let's pull a little bit of negativity in this conversation, shall we? We had a lot of air balls tonight. There were a lot of rough misses this evening for sure. Especially from Franz. Like Franz kind of missed a couple of pretty rough ones, and you could kind of tell that like when he airballed a couple ones early in the third quarter, you're like, maybe this isn't Franz's night, and that's okay. We got another super chat here, so appreciate that super chat from Greasy. I'm not entirely sure about the context here. We appreciate the support. Appreciate you for sending in the super chat and supporting the channel as a result. That means a lot. Thank you so much. Let's see what else we got here. Thankful that the Magic are relevant once again, not only in the East but in the league. And then Andy, before we jump into the box score here, from 3-6 to 13-7, keep it going, Magic. It's crazy. I'm looking down at this physical schedule that I have, and after you lose that game to the Pacers on November 6th, you have now won, I believe, 10 out of your last 11 games. Personally, at this point, with Paolo in the rotation, at the beginning of the year, through 20 games, I had us going 12-8. We lost Paolo about 5 or 6 games into the year, and we're a game ahead of where I had us. We talked about the fact that we just needed this team to tread water with Paolo gone. When we started having those conversations, I don't think anyone expected that a 13-7 start was on the table for this team. But we also talked about the fact that you needed to log wins because you have a tough stretch coming up. You got a couple back-to-back games against the Nets. And then you got a tough stretch coming up during December. So we talked about the need to log wins during games prior to that tough stretch during December, and that's exactly what this team has done, which was awesome. Luis Rosario, no ceiling fan in a Michigan kitchen. Luis, literally, I think the day after you called me out for my ceiling fan being dirty in my living room, I went up and I cleaned it. So not only you, but my wife appreciated that as well. Chris D says, I'm thankful that there were no NBA teams close to Arkansas when I was growing up, and the Magic were on TV the most in the mid-90s. Man, that must have been different from what we experience nowadays, huh? And I decided that Shaq and Penny were cool. Man, there's a lot of memories from this Magic team that I would have loved to experience if I would have been a team a lot younger. Obviously, for those of you guys who didn't listen to the intro podcast that I did with Maddie, John, and Kevin, I didn't become really a Magic fan until about 2016, or 2014 through 2016-ish. And I missed a lot of the Dwight teams. I missed a lot of the Shaq and Penny teams. So there's just a lot of memories that I wish I didn't have. But this is the first time that I'm really stepping into a Magic season and being hopeful and excited about what we can accomplish. And last comment before we get to the box scores, Icarus says, beat Brooklyn twice, beat Philly twice, beat New York, and let's keep rolling. Brooklyn's, ironically, is it crazy to say that right now Brooklyn is looking like the best of those three teams? Like New York had a dud tonight, which we're going to get into in a second. And then Philly is just looking awful. And I don't understand how you can look as bad as you've looked. You're at the bottom of the Eastern Conference, and you're still allowing Paul George and Joel Embiid to rest every other night. Like, are they already just giving up and tanking for Cooper Flagg? This isn't a Sixers podcast. I would never defame the name of this podcast by speaking too much on the Sixers, so I'm going to drop that before I get too heavily into that. And then Rick says, thankful the Magic figured it out without Paolo because it was a rough start, and Paolo's return will be epic. Plugging Paolo back into this team is going to be great, man. I'm really excited. So let's look at the box score here. Well, before you look at the box score, let's take a look at those Santa boxers again. Those things are red. Let's look at the box score here. Franz Wagner, obviously, with an insanely inefficient 21 points. We talked about him. Wendell, not really ineffective. He's a plus 10. He didn't look great in his comeback, 0 for 3. We kind of hoped that maybe a little bit of rest on his foot was going to lead to a better three-point shot. That definitely hasn't happened. Goga plays great. The energy that Goga provides is just next level, and I love that coach decided not to take him out of the starting lineup because the energy that he provides is crazy. Man, just take a look at this KCP and Jalen box scores, guys. Like KCP, 8 of 13 from the field, 6 of 10 from 3, 24 points. 4 steals. Like this game, right? If you would have showed me this stat line prior to the year, this is the stat line that I would have loved to see from KCP. And this is what I thought we were signing him for $22 million a year for. We got him. We don't need this every single game. We just need to know that he's capable of giving us this type of game every 3-4 games or so. Hit 38% from 3 for the rest of the season. Give us 12 points off the bench, 3-4 steals. Even that's high expectations, but I would love that. Jalen Suggs, what more can you say about him? 4 of 9 from 3, 10 of 18 from the field. Like I said, a crazy efficient 31 points tonight. Anthony Black only played 15 minutes. He was a plus 2, so not a great game. Maybe he's the reverse KCP, where KCP changed the hair and then had a great game. Anthony Black changed the hair. Maybe he needs to bring back the fro. Jonathan Isaac, another 20-plus minute performance. What else can you say about J.I.? Mo, great game offensively, another 15 points. He's going to be up there, top 10 for probably 6 man of the year votes, if I had to guess. Tristan, another great game. And then you had Cole Anthony came in. He's been looking really, really good. 3 of 6 from the field. He's been looking a lot better these last couple of weeks. And so really, if you can bring him in, I don't really know what his role on the second unit would look like, but if you can bring him in, then that can really help your bench unit for sure. And then you have Caleb, Corey, and Jet here. Garbage time. We're not going to talk about them because I would get upset because, like I said, they definitely did a pretty good tank job of that defensive efficiency tonight. We should have only allowed about 108 points, and we allowed 119. So you win this game in the first and second quarters. You outscore them 38-25 in the first quarter, and then 35-29 in the second. It was just an insurmountable lead. Like they got it close a couple of times. There's just nothing that they could do about it. 60 points in the paint. Chicago is a high-paced team, so 28 fast break points is a lot. You would have liked to see this Magic team stop that a little bit more and stop them out in transition. But if that's what you have to take with Chicago, that's fine. Biggest lead of 27 was great. Bench points pretty much even. Rebounds pretty much even. You forced 18 turnovers, which was pretty great. Overall, for the fact that we allowed 119 points, the defense was actually pretty good tonight. Like I said, going into the back half of that fourth quarter, going up into that fourth quarter, you had, I think you had like 104 points with like 4 minutes left or something like that. I could be totally wrong about that, but it's just that bench unit just allowed scores on like 7 straight possessions or something like that. This is a much better defensive game than this score is going to indicate. Luke making a great point, saying Sixers can't even tank because they don't have their own pick. Luis Rosario saying, I'm feeling more the 1994 season than 1995. Either way, they were both great years. Yes, they were. A lot of other mentions of what you guys were thankful for. Love seeing what you guys were thankful for. And another super chat, Greasy, we appreciate your love in the video tonight. Greasy says Dell Jr. and Paolo should team up to promote Cologne. I mean, hey, if that's the result of what happens with this team, you never know what's going to end up happening. These guys are going to wind up being a lot more public for sure. And Paolo is really changing the way that people talk about this team. And getting a lot more recognition. So maybe that comes with endorsement deals, Maybe it's going to be back to, obviously Shaq just is in every commercial I've ever seen in my entire life. And can anyone name a more random endorsement deal than General Insurance and Shaquille O'Neal? Because that always felt weird, and it still feels weird, and I've never understood it. I've never gotten it. But they still do it, and I don't know anyone who actually has General Insurance, so weird. Let's go ahead. We are going to take a look at some scores from around the league right here. I've seen you guys post about some finals already in the chat. We're going to get through to those. Grizzlies beating up on the Pistons tonight, 107-83. The Pistons without Cade Cunningham are nowhere near the team that they are with him. Cade is a incredible player, and that's a big loss for them. So really hoping for the Pistons' sake that Cade's able to make it back soon. The Magic take care of the Bulls, 133-119. Mavericks, again, like I said, Knicks are going to drop to 10-8 because they're losing 121-107 with 116 left to the Mavericks. The Raptors are beating up on the Pelicans. Talk about injuries. The Pelicans are not in a good place right now. I feel very bad for Pelicans fans out there, which is saying a lot because normally I don't really care about Pelicans fans, but the fact that they have just been decimated by injuries has been ridiculous. Timberwolves up 86-79 on the Kings. Two teams that are underperforming a little bit in the Western Conference. Lakers up 62-50 on the Spurs. Nuggets up 53-49 on the Jazz. Brooklyn is up 57-54 on the Suns. I mentioned earlier that of New York, Philadelphia, and Brooklyn, I think it would be crazy. I don't think it's crazy, to say that Brooklyn is playing the best basketball of those three teams right now. The Knicks kind of had that little bit of a win streak, but they're struggling. So trap game for sure coming up on Friday. For this Magic team, you really got to be careful that you don't go into that game with a sense of complacency. Warriors Thunder tonight on ESPN. If you guys are planning on staying up late, check that one out. That one's going to be a great one. Clippers take care of business over the Wizards, 121-96. Rockets are looking great this year, starting out 14-6. They take care of the Sixers, losing again, dropping to 3-14. Pacers take care of business over the Trailblazers. Hawks hand the Cavs their first home loss of the year. They dropped to 17-2. Trae Young, I heard this mentioned earlier, had a 20-20 game, 20 points and 22 assists, is wild. And then the Heat in a low-scoring game against the Hornets, 98-94. Let's take a look at the standings. Let's make sure that these are updated here for us tonight. Your Orlando Magic are the third seed in the Eastern Conference. They are 13-7, 4.5 games back of first place, 3 games back of second. The fifth seed Milwaukee Bucks, who were bottom dwellers a little bit earlier on in the year, they are on a 5-game win streak, and they're 7-3 in their last 10. They're starting to turn things around. And then Philadelphia, you see down here at the bottom, 3-14. Let's check the chat real quick to make sure that I haven't missed anything of note. And then I want to make a couple of notes about Friday. I normally would leave this to Kevin and Jonathan, but because tomorrow is Thanksgiving, there's not a podcast tomorrow because we want to be able to allow them to spend time with their family tomorrow. I want to spend time with my family tomorrow. And so we're just going to kind of take that day off and then be back on Monday. But I'm going to talk about something about Friday that I want you guys to pay attention to here in a second. This team becoming so consistent. Absolutely, this team is becoming consistent. Nike needs to go ahead and sign Franz already. He's going to get an endorsement sometime. You know, he's playing great basketball, and people can only ignore it for so long. Christy says, I'm convinced Shaq would cut off his own foot if he could get money for it. Shaq signed some weird endorsement stuff. He's completing, I heard someone say on Twitter a couple weeks ago that he's just completing side quests in his life at this point, and that's probably the best way that I could put it. And Solitary Introvert says the Nets are a pretty scrappy team. That's what I'm saying. They're not going to be an easy win. A lot of people have those two games. A lot of people still haven't changed their perspective on who the Nets are, but that's a tough team. They're playing hard. They're playing tough. They basically say every single night, regardless of whether you're coming into New York or we're going to you, we are not going to let you have an easy win. And so the Magic can't afford to be complacent. They can't afford to play like they played the other night in Charlotte. They can't afford to be lax on the defensive side of the ball for extended periods of time like they were tonight against Chicago. So let's see this team go in there with a sense of being able to accomplish some big wins coming up on Friday and Sunday. So here's what I want to talk about real quick. I'm going to make this super quick for you guys. But here we go. What I want to look at is Friday. Okay. So let's bump this up to Friday. If you guys are not doing anything Friday, then I would highly encourage you guys to check out this game on NBA TV and League Pass, 12 o'clock noon on Friday. It is the Knicks against the Hornets. Okay. The Magic play Friday evening at 7:30 against the Nets. Why am I pointing out this Knicks-Hornets game at 12 on a Friday, you may ask? Well, the reason why I am doing that, as I pull up the NBA Cup here, is that could determine the mentality that we have going into our game next Tuesday against the Knicks. Okay? Because if the Hornets take care of the Knicks and we are able to take care of Brooklyn, then essentially you don't actually have to beat the Knicks. You just need to you just need to not lose by more than like 30 points, right? So rooting for Charlotte, it's tough to do, I know, hang with me, against New York on Friday is going to be big because that essentially entirely it's already in our hands, right? If we take care of business against Brooklyn, you win the group. But that way, it gives us a huge buffer if Charlotte is able to take care of that game against the Knicks. And if Charlotte's going to play scrappy like they've been playing the last couple of weeks, and the Knicks are going to play bad the way that they played tonight, then I think that we are in good shape. But pay attention to this game right here. I already lost it. But that 12 o'clock game, New York against Charlotte, pay attention to that. And we will see how that goes. We'll see what ends up coming up there. And that'll determine kind of what we're looking for and what we're expecting going into that Tuesday game against New York next week. Some comments about everyone making sure that the team's staying focused. So yes, the first tiebreaker is head-to-head. Interesting. Look into that. I can't speak too much on the NBA Cup tiebreakers because I just know point differential is important, and that's really my experience with that. So I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up tonight. Thank you guys so much for choosing to join us. Over 130 of you guys, 60 likes. Before you guys head out this evening, go ahead and drop a like. That helps with the algorithm. Again, please remember that we are presented by Rock'em Socks. If you use code MAGIC20 for some Christmas gifts coming up in the next couple of weeks, then you receive 20% off of your order. As we mentioned, the Orlando Magic have a big game coming up this Friday against the Brooklyn Nets. It's going to be huge. We're going to see how it goes, but pay attention to that Knicks-Hornets game as well. I just want to let you guys know I'm thankful for you guys. I know you guys are thankful for this community as well. So head out tonight, get some sleep, wake up tomorrow ready to eat some turkey and spend Thanksgiving with your families. Happy Thanksgiving, Magic community. Love you guys. You guys have a great night. Let's go Magic.